All right, hello everybody. So we'll be starting off today's session, and we are focusing on the 2nd of July, second shift of the CHSL 2024 examination. Which of the following statements are incorrect vis-a-vis the features of the Indian Constitution? Okay, the first says the Constitution empowers the Prime Minister to proclaim three types of emergencies. Okay, so the PM has the power to allocate the emergencies. The second option is the reservation policy is there to uplift the disadvantaged section of the society. So reservation being there to uplift the disadvantaged sections of the society. The Supreme Court has no power of judicial review. The SC has no power of judicial review, and the Constitution provides for universal adult suffrage, UAS. So just see what we're talking about here. The Court has the power of judicial review, though the option 3 is wrong. Then the PM doesn't have the power to proclaim the three types of emergencies. The president has it. So if 1 and 3 are wrong, then what option is supposed to be chosen? If you see very clearly, it says incorrect. Choose the incorrect option. So the incorrect option would be 1 and 3. Okay, the incorrect option would be 1 and 3. Moving on. Okay, just a second. I would like you to see whatever is written over here. Those are the more clear statements. Okay, the president is empowered to proclaim the emergencies, and the third option, the Court has the power. Okay, and the other two options are definitely true as well. That is why they weren't in the options. Moving on. In September 2022, the book Ambedkar and Modi Reformers Ideas, Performers Implementation has been written by which of the following personalities? Okay, so APJ Abdul Kalam died recently. Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan was the first. I'm again going to write here 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, we have four options 1, 2, 3, and 4. The first one is wrong. The third one has also passed away. Pratibha Patil. There's no news particularly of she writing a book. So the only probable option is Ramnath Kovind. So you may learn it right away. You may read about it over here. Read about him over here. Okay. On what type of data can MS Excel functions be performed? Okay, so it is just asking what kind of data is required to perform MS Excel functions. Options are external data sources only. It's wrong because internal data sources, it can be any sort of data, but it should be openable and it should be then only MS Excel functions can be operated there. Entire worksheets only, that's not true. You can apply it on single cells as well. Then it says range of cells or group of cells. In a range of cells, it is basically individual cells are a subset of a range of cells. Okay, so let's assume that this is a very small Excel sheet and there are only 4 cells in it. So if it talks about one single cell, it is a part of a range of a cell as well. Okay, so the option 4 is correct. Moving on. Orographic rainfall occurs when? I'm going to immediately help you understand the concept of orographic rainfall. These are the mountains. Okay, these are the mountains. Here there is water. Here is a water body. There is a water body. What happens is due to the sun being there, due to the sun shining bright, heat is transferred to the water body. The water body gives out water vapor. The water evaporates. Due to evaporation and change in the temperature, there is a cloud formation. There is cloud formation, and these clouds then move towards the hills because of pressure difference and because of the winds, the sea breeze and the land breeze, you know about that. As they reach the mountains, I'm going to describe that over here. As they reach the mountains, let's assume the clouds reach the mountains over here. Due to the terrain, they have to move up. Due to the terrain, they have to move up, and towards the top of the mountain, the pressure increases. Okay, the pressure increases, the temperature decreases. So that is why they tend to give out rainfall, and where the rainfall is on the windward side, and there is no rainfall on the leeward side. There is no rainfall on the leeward side. So this sort of rainfall is basically saturated air mass comes across a mountain. So this is the answer. Okay, you may read about it over here. Orographic rainfall occurs when moist, saturated air masses are forced to ascend over a mountain range. As the air rises, it cools and condenses, leading to the windward side of the mountain. Moving on, which famous book was written by Haripala? Okay, you. This is a very factual question, and this is the direct answer to it. Sangita Sudhakara is a renowned work by Haripala. The book is a significant treatise on music, providing comprehensive insights into Indian classical music. Moving on, which folk music is does not belong to Nagaland? See, this particular question can only be solved can also be solved with the help of elimination. Okay, can also be solved with the help of elimination. And how would elimination work over here? There is EU1. Then in the second option also has EU in the ending. The third option doesn't have it, and the fourth option also has EU at the end. So one, two, and three. So this is the particular one. This is the particular one. This is the answer. Okay. So this is also an elimination technique, that odd one out. You pick the odd one out, and it might be the answer. 80% of the time it works. 20% of the time it doesn't. What is the main objective of Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act? Okay. Now just try to understand, this act is coming in the year 2003, and the act is coming from the government side. Okay, so what would the government be doing for the people? If it reduces subsidies, in the first option, if it reduces subsidies, then people would not like it, so the government would not do that. If it reduces fiscal deficits, it means that this, what is physical deficit? Spending minus earning. Spending minus earning. Spending minus earning. So if the government is spending more than what it is earning, it is called fiscal deficit. To reduce fiscal deficit, then only the government would be profitable. And why does the government want to be profitable? Because it wants to allocate more budget towards the areas where it is required more. Okay, so it is very important the government to reduce the fiscal deficit. So this is a positive thing. To increase exports, yes, definitely exports must be increased, but the fiscal responsibility is not a part of increasing exports. What about increase excise duty? If you increase the excise duty, then the imports would become more expensive. So it's better to just focus on the point to reduce fiscal deficit. You may read about it over here. Moving on, which of the following groups of places in India has little differences in day and night temperature? Bhopal and Indore, landlocked. Kashmir, it has it's a mountainous region, hilly region, so it has it's very cold during the it is very cold during the night, and it's pretty hot during the day because of its high terrain. What about Jaipur and Jaisalmer? In Jaipur and Jaisalmer, very hot during the day because of the sun, and it also has the desert, the Great Indian Thar Desert being there. And what about the night? The night is very cold because the sand cools down much faster. Okay, sand cools down much faster, much faster. So it won't be this. What about Chennai and Thiruvananthapuram? Chennai and Thiruvananthapuram are coastal cities, are coastal territories. So the temperature of day and night would remain the same. They have a moderate climate due to their coastal location. Okay, you may read about everything else over here. Moving on, which of the following festivals of Kerala that heralds the harvest season, lasts for 10 days, and has snake boat races, etc.? See, as soon as they say the snake boat races, you know it is definitely Onam. But always remember this, that if at all in the next option or in the next question they don't write snake boat races, you would be gone. Okay, so Onam is a harvest festival. It lasts for 10 days and it has snake boat races. It has snake boat races. So Onam is the correct answer. Moving on, you may read about it over here. Okay, which of the following is not a party alleviation program? Anything which is about development, which is about Rozgar, or which is about this. Rozgar is already there. Okay, so if development and Rozgar, if it is a infra project, it is a development project, it is a employment project. So all of them are poverty alleviation only. If infrastructure is provided, the person or the families would be able to stay somewhere. They would come out of poverty because they won't have to pay a lot of rent to the government, and they'll be able to stay in a proper development also, poverty alleviation, employment also, poverty alleviation. What about Rashtriya Uchchatar Shiksha Abhiyan? Rashtriya means national, Uchchatar means higher, Shiksha means study, Abhiyan means program. So in this particular program, there is no talk about poverty alleviation. Okay, RUSA, RUSA. All right. Moving ahead. The Industrial Power Policy Resolution 1948 mainly categorized large scale industries into, this is a very, very factual question. The answer is four. You may read about them over here. It primarily classified large scale industries into four categories. Number one, industries dominated by the state sector, basic industries of strategic importance where the state would exclusively control operations, others where both state and private sector would coexist, and remaining industries where private sector operations were allowed but would be regulated by the state. Moving on, Chau is a popular dance form of which of the state? Chau, CHAU. Chau is of Jharkhand. Okay, Jharkhand. Moving on, Article 20 of the Constitution is related to what? We just discussed about Article 20 in the last exam. So it means if one article is being discussed in the first exam, it is very much possible it will be discussed in the next exam as well. Article 20 subclause 1, Article 20 subclause 2, Article 20 subclause 3. The first one talking about no ex post facto laws would be enforceable. It means if you've done a crime when the crime was not a punishment or was not a punishable offense, you would not be held liable for that, or you will not be held you won't be given a punishment for that. Second one being that there is no double jeopardy. It means for one crime you would not be punished twice. And number three, okay, no double jeopardy. No double jeopardy. Post facto law, no double jeopardy, and no self incrimination. What do we mean by self incrimination? Self incrimination means that you cannot hold yourself to be a witness against you in the case. Okay, so you cannot say negative things against yourself. So it is protection in respect of conviction for offenses. Moving on, who is the only Indian woman who has been ranked number one, world number one for badminton? So Saina Nehwal. She recently was on the Kapil Sharma show, and he very categorically mentioned that she's Saina Nehwal, who has been the world number one in badminton. Okay, moving on. Which of the following is an example of a solid in liquid type of solution? Okay, solid in a liquid type of solution. We have brass over here, then we have vinegar, we have bronze, and we have tincture of iodine. So brass is an alloy, so it means it is solid in solid. Brass is an alloy. Vinegar is liquid in liquid, is liquid in liquid. It is basically acetic acid, which has been diluted to a very, very low, to a very high level. It has been diluted to a very high level, so that is vinegar. What about tincture of iodine? Iodine is solid. Iodine is solid. It is mixed in a mixture of alcohol, which is liquid. Alcohol is liquid. So the answer is tincture of iodine. Okay, solid in type of solid. How do the muscle cells help in movement? Okay, so what happens is, you must have heard about it, that the muscles contract and relax. So the option is answer 4. I think I did not show you the last slide's description. You may read about it. Read this one first. Okay. Moving back to the previous question, tincture of iodine, everything about it over here. You may pause and see the video. All right, moving on. This is the one which we did right now. According to Census of India 2011, how many districts are there in India? There are 640 districts in India. Okay, there are 640 districts in India. A very, very factual information. Which of the following was not a venue for 66th National School Games? Bhopal, Gwalior, Delhi, all of them were the venues, and Ludhiana was not a part of them. Okay, moving on. The Reserve Bank of India was fully nationalized and owned by the government of India in which of the following years? So the answer is 1949. Got it? Moving on. In April 2023, the government of India launched Vibrant Village program from Kibitho village, which is located in, and the answer is Assam. Oh, I'm so sorry. The answer is Arunachal Pradesh. The answer is Arunachal Pradesh. Okay. As I've made a mistake, I think you will be able to remember it very well that Kibitho village is in Arunachal Pradesh. Moving on. In July 2021, which state government passed a resolution for supporting an ad hoc committee report that favored the creation of legislative council? I've already talked about creation of legislative council. The creation of legislative council can be done through Article 169, and it doesn't need a special majority. A simple no, it needs a special majority to be passed. Okay, no, it needs a simple majority to be passed. It needs a simple majority to be passed. Article 169, and they wanted to create a legislative council. What is a legislative council? Legislative council is equal to the center's Rajya Sabha. Rajya Sabha. It also means the upper house, which is the legislative committee. Okay, and West Bengal was the place where it passed. You may see about it. You may read about it over here. When was the Bharat Nirman program launched by the government of India? The answer to this is 2005. There were six key initiatives: irrigation, roads, housing, water supply, electrification, and telecommunication connectivity. Okay, okay. Thank you. Moving on. The fifth edition of the Khelo India Youth Games were organized in Bhopal city in which year? In Bhopal city, they were organized in 2023. In 2020, they were organized in Guwahati. In 2022, they were organized in Haryana. Okay, so a factual question. Factual questions need to be read by you. What will happen when you select the entire cell content of a particular row in MS Excel? Let's assume that this was the row 1, 2, 3. You selected the fourth row. The fourth row has been highlighted because of your selection. And then click delete. If you press delete button over here, then what would happen? The entire row would not be deleted off like this. The entire row would not be replaced by the row below, but the contents would be wiped off. The contents would be wiped off. So entries in all the selected cells would be deleted. The answer is no. Entries entire row will be deleted. The answer is yes. Yep. So entire. Just a second. What will happen when you select the cell contents of a particular row? Oh, okay, 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 okay. So what it is talking about here is, I'll just draw the diagram one more time. Let's assume this was the fourth row and this was filled up to here. This was filled up to the column A, B, and C, and D, E, and F were empty. Empty. What does empty mean over here? That ABC is this. This is ABC. This is ABC. So this is empty. What does empty signify here? That there is nothing here. If only this area has been selected. If ABC of 1, of 4, of number 4, row number 4 have been selected. So what would go away? Only the selected cells would go away. Okay, this was a mistake and I believe you will remember it very, very well now. You may see whatever is written here. Moving on. Mahabalipuram temple was built under the reign of which of the following dynasties? The answer is Pallava. It is a theoretical question. By theoretical I mean it is a factual question. You may read about it very well. Okay. Yeah. So we are done with it. Thank you so much for being here and please revise very thoroughly.